There is a desperate rescue mission which is on in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Mumbai and off the Gujarat coast as well. This is after the cyclone sort of shredded its way past the coast of Maharashtra, hitting Bombay High, and resulted in a barge sinking. 100+ people on board the ONGC barges. They were employed for ONGC on a contractual basis. They've been rescued, but upwards of 90 are still missing. In just a few moments from now, we'll be speaking to Commodore MK Jha, the Commodore of Operations at the Western Naval Command, very much the person who is spearheading the rescue operations. But before we do that, here's a look at these rescues which have taken place overnight.
A sailor on board one of the barges stranded off the coast of Maharashtra being winched up to a rescue helicopter. Elsewhere, survivors rescued by the Navy after a night of terror out in the Indian Ocean have been flown back to Mumbai on these helicopters. They say they endured hell overnight, not knowing if they would make it out alive. A few were rescued from this life raft.
हम 250-300 आदमी हैं उधर थे बार्ज पे जो हमारे इंचार्ज साहब हैं वो बोले अपने लाइफ जैकेट वो सेफ्टी वाला है वो बोला अपनी लाइफ जैकेट पहन के रेडी रहो तो बोल रहे हैं कि 2 बोट आ रहा है
लाइफ जैकेट पहनने के बाद फिर आप
लाइफ जैकेट पहन के तब छलांग समुद्र में लगाया.
2 barges of the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India felt the full fury of the cyclone. One of them, Barge P305, has sunk at its location. The other, Gal Constructor, has run aground 48 nautical miles north of Colaba Point. In total, there were 410 workers on board these barges. All 137 on Gal Constructor have been rescued, but so far 93 remain missing of the 273 on board the other barge. The Navy and Coast Guard will continue rescue operations through the night. With Purva Chitnish, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Joining us now, Commodore MK Jha, the Commodore of Operations at the Western Naval Command Headquarters. Commodore, thank you very much for being with us. What is the present state of the rescue operations?
Vishnu, as we speak, 183 survivors have been picked up with the joint effort by all the stakeholders. In addition, another 137 crew members of another stranded vessel have also been evacuated.
And how many are missing presently, sir?
If we look at the numbers, as we look at another vessel also, we are looking at about 97 more personnel who are missing at sea.
And Commodore, are they, is it your belief that they may be on life rafts, or would they just be out possibly floating with a life jacket on them?
What we have seen so far is that most of all the personnel had life jacket around them, those who have the survivors. However, but for one, none of the life raft had the survivors. That means the sea conditions were so rough that they could not board the life raft.
Commodore, could you tell us a little bit more about the sea conditions? To a layperson, what does a sea state of 8 or 9 mean?
All right. As the ships had sailed out from here, the wave height was varying between 5 to 7 meters. Wind speed of the order of 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. This was coupled with heavy downpour and visibility literally negligible at times, at the most about half a kilometer to 1 kilometer. So these were the challenging sea conditions.
Commodore, why weren't the men on these barges evacuated earlier? We all knew there was a cyclone coming our way.
Well, I am certain that there must have been some effort by certain agencies, but at this juncture, our aim at the Navy, at the Western Naval Command, is to see to that every man, every survivor at sea is picked up. And we learn lessons from these to make sure that in future we do not have similar incidents.
And Commodore, in terms of the rescue operations, and I presume, you know, the Navy, Coast Guard, you don't give up, you keep trying. So tonight, right now, What are the men and women in your command doing?
As we speak, it's as you rightly said, it is a joint operations by all stakeholders: Navy, Coast Guard, ONGC, various support ships. Everyone is pitching. So it's a joint operations. We have 5 ships from the Navy, 2 ships from the Coast Guard. We have the P-8I aircraft. We have seeking helicopters, Chetaks, and as we speak, day and night, the search operations are continuing.
And so, Commodore, is there a particular grid you're looking at, or does the grid actually move given the sea conditions and the currents? What is the science of looking for people who where they went missing?
Absolutely, you are absolutely. The initial reported position of the barge, the passenger barge, that we had known, and thereafter we monitored over a period of time how they had drifted. We also knew the position where the barge finally sank, and thereafter we continued to monitor the personnel who are missing from there. And we have been able to assess the drift. Initially, the drift was about 5 to 6 knots. For a layman, it could be about 10 kilometers per hour. But now it has reduced, and the drift is about, I would say, 5 to 6 kilometers per hour.
And one or two final questions, sir. What is the condition of those who've been rescued? I noticed a few of them were okay when they came off your helicopters, but are a few of them injured or in a bad condition?
Conditions at sea continue to remain challenging, and people are doing their job in absolute tough conditions. Helicopter operations, we are unable to undertake from ships, and that's how they are operating from shore. In short while, these helicopters would also embark on these ships. Right now, we have this P-8I aircraft, which is carrying out search, and we are trying to locate every survivor at sea.
Commodore, I was asking about the condition of those who have been rescued. What is their condition?
If you say the conditions of those who have been rescued, there is hope in their eyes, but certainly they are distressed. Of course, physical condition of a person are varying because they have been battered by the sea conditions for multiple hours. So I really, having been at sea for years, I really empathize with it.
All right. And so just a final question, you've deployed state-of-the-art warships, our finest, our Kolkata-class destroyers, Talwar-class frigates. How difficult and challenging is it to be operating in weather conditions like this? From a technical standpoint, just getting ships in these high sea states?
Absolutely. The moment we learned at Western Naval Command about this barge having been adrift and the likelihood of some lives at risk, we did not bother. The eye of the storm was right west of Mumbai. We did not bother, and the ships were immediately sailed out, which was followed by another ships, and these were deployed. The biggest challenge also remained that while we are putting to sea to make sure that we save others' lives, it was equally important to make sure that the SOPs remain in place and we continue to save our own lives while saving others. Because if we can't save our own lives, we will not be able to save others.
Absolutely. Commodore Jha, it's been great speaking to you, and thank you for sharing some of the big challenges as you, the Coast Guard, civilians, ONGC, the others, continue with this battle overnight. Thank you very much indeed, sir.